especially because the deadline is moving July 31st. So let me talk a little bit more about the panel and about the award itself. And the panelist, Cheryl, is Vice President of Energy Future Holdings. And Kathy Doherty is CEO of Doherty Sprague Environmental Incorporated. And she was an award recipient last year in 2011. And Keeley is CEO President of Trans Expedite Incorporated. She was an award recipient in 2009. Royland Reed, President of Consumer and Market Insights, was an award recipient in 2010. So we've got quite a range, and they each had different experiences with the award, but they're here to share that with you today. So let me talk a little bit about the award itself. It was established in 2005. It provides a cash award up to $5,000 to MDE members of the council to help take your business to the next level. You can be at any level in your business, but it is named in honor of Lily Knox, who is a fabulous woman who is on our council, and she was a vital and important part of the history and current success of our council here. So we couldn't think of any better way than to have this award named after Lily. Applications for this year's award are due, as I said, July 31st, and the awards will be announced during Lily's Memorial Luncheon at Harvesting Partnerships on September 9th. There is a 2-page application on your tables. It's the white sheets. It talks a little bit about the award on the top sheet, and then the application is attached below. And we also have it off our website, so any way you want to use it, it's kind of a good reference point today for you to look at. Also, applicants must be certified WBE members of no less than 2 years. And applicants must successfully describe a critical business need that, if addressed, will help take your business to the next level. So at this time, I'm going to get started. We're going to be asking each one of the panelists some questions. And we're going to start with you, Cheryl. Please tell us a little bit more about the history and exactly what the selection committee is looking for in a successful application.
Thank you. Thank you. So a couple times you've heard the selection committee, so let me tell you who that is, first of all. Our committee is made up of current and former chairs of the board of directors of this organization. And several of them are here today. Lynn Scott, Larry Caldwell, Robbie Dietrich, Mark joins us this year, Barb Taylor, is anybody? Me. And of course Debbie. So that's the group. And so that group, as we add more past chairs, continues to grow a little bit every year, which is a good thing. Debbie asked me to talk a little bit about Lily, about why this is a cash award. Lily Knox ran supplier diversity for years for Southwestern Bell when it was Southwestern Bell. And she was recognized across the country as a leader in matters of inclusion. Lily was about doing the right thing. She retired from Southwestern Bell on a Friday, and the following Monday went to work for the Women's Business Enterprise National Council, or WBENC. So she had a full 48 hours off, which gave her just enough time to celebrate her retirement. And then she went to work for WBENC and as Executive Vice President of Field Operations. I believe I got that right. Lily was a huge believer in a practical approach to women being successful in business. She knew she knows what it takes. She knew what it took to get it done. And that's why the Lily Knox Award is a cash award. Lily loved her family, she loved her friends, she loved champagne, and she loved money. So when Debbie first began to talk about this, we knew that we couldn't settle for anything less than that award being a cash award. We lost Lily in 2003 to cancer. cancer. We wanted to do something to honor her memory and her spirit, and so I think that she'd be proud of us at the tune of $90,000. She would still expect us to do more. So that's why we're here today, is to explain a little bit more about what this is all about. The award, the cash award itself, you'll see on your application for the choir WBEs here, it's totally supported. The donations, the money that we as a committee have to work with, is totally donated by membership. In other words, when you pay your certification fee, or corporate members, when you pay your dues, none of that money goes into the Lily Knox Fund. It is a restricted fund of the council, and it's contributions solely from you, either personal contributions, corporate contributions, and that's how this fund is built. So we always say that we'll take anything from $1 to as much as you can possibly give to keep this tradition going, because we do plan to do that for a number of years. Totally supported by member donations, and it is a cash award up to $5,000 for something that will help you, WBEs, take your business to the next level. Now, that's pretty wide open, and we intentionally, under Debbie's leadership, we designed it that way, because we want to have just full freedom to evaluate the applications and what people are asking for, and how it will take your business to the next level. So it's all about, it's called investing for growth. And so that's what we're looking for, is how will this money, maybe it's not $5,000 that you need, and we'll get into the specifics a little bit later, but we want you to ask for something specific that will help you grow your business. There are two major areas that the committee looks at. You'll see this on the application. One is your involvement with the council. Lily was a founding member of this council and a founding member of WBAG, and she would not forgive us for that not being the criteria of this award. So it's based on your participation with this council, and it's based on your specific description of what you need. And that's it. And it's just, it's free money. It's not a loan, it's not a scholarship, it's just we're going to give you the money. The one thing that we ask is that you put it to good use, and next year, we make these awards and harvesting partnerships, and the next year we ask that you tell us how it went. And that could be potentially getting up and telling us, or it could be a synopsis of how everybody used the money. So that's really easy. And so I would encourage you, if you have an interest and you have a need that specifically will grow your business, that you take advantage of this opportunity.
Okay, thank you. Also, we will take questions, but we're going to wait till after the presentation, because perhaps further along in the presentation, you'll have your question answered. So I'll leave time at the end for any questions. So this next question is for each one of our award recipients. And we'll start with Royland, and then just move this to the right. What was your award for, and can you comment on why you decided to apply when you did?
Okay. Well, the award for us, we used to buy a smart board. And for those who don't know, smart board is the interactive board for communication and teaming. And it was right on time with where our business was. Because in 2009, we entered a rapid growth phase. So we were growing very quickly, and we knew we needed our technology to keep up. And with that smart board, and as our contracts expanded all over the United States, we needed a better way to communicate with our clients, as well as team members who were out for meetings. And one of the major purposes we use the smart board for is so often whatever's on the board remotely, the same person can see it. We've actually even used it in some proposal presentations, where it even has the ability, if you have a teaming partner, everyone, wherever they're dialing in, is seeing the same thing. You can even turn the controls over to your teaming partner, and they can take over, and then they can give it back to you. So it has a lot of neat features like that has really helped us be stronger internally as well as more competitively externally.
Thank you. I I'm Keely with TransExpedite, and we are a full-service transportation and logistics provider. We are regulated by the Transportation Security Administration, and all of you know that after 9/11, things changed dramatically in how we can travel, and that also applies to how you can move freight on commercial airlines. So in 2009, when we applied for this award, Congress had mandated that in August of 2010, all freight would have to be screened 100% at the airport. They warned at that time that that could create delays with freight at the airport and increased fees to the customers. So we decided to become a certified cargo screening facility. That way we could screen the freight at our warehouse, and we could help our customers avoid those delays and those increased fees that would occur at the airport. In order to do that, we had to purchase an ion scan 500 explosive trace detector, ETD. It's a very, very expensive piece of equipment. So the $5,000 definitely helped in that process. But one of the reasons we decided to apply it was because of the fact that we knew that would differentiate us among our competitors. We were actually the first, and still there's, I think, only 2 other transportation providers in our market that have that certified cargo screening in place as a logistics provider. So we also knew that being the first, being on the cutting edge, that really attributed to our security management system. It helped us become credible in the eyes of the Fortune 100 and Fortune 500 companies that have now asked us to participate in RFPs with them. So it was a really huge part of our growth as far as value add to our customers and in helping us ensure to our customers that we can move their freight securely through the supply chain.
Hello, I'm Kathy Dougherty with Dr. Sprague Environmental. We are an environmental engineering firm doing work mostly with the federal government, the Department of Defense. And we received our award for GIS software. GIS is Graphical Information Systems. It's a way of specialty mapping. And this is extremely expensive software. The software, the computers that run on it, were more than $5,000. But we had a special need in that I was already providing these services to other people via subcontracts. So I had provided these services for years and used subcontractors, but I had no in-house capability. And the bottom line of that is I was paying $50 to $75 an hour and then recharging it to the government for $100 an hour versus having a person on my staff with the skills that was $60 an hour or $50 an hour or maybe even $60,000 a year, $30 an hour. And so I was losing a lot of money, but I could just not find in my budget anywhere that $5,000 to buy that software, even though it made perfect sense. And so I was also the winner of the not winning the Knox Award for about 5 years, okay? So I really did apply for this. I had the fortune of knowing Lily. I've been here a long time. And I had of really knowing this wonderful woman and what she meant. And she was a force to be reckoned with in this town when she was here. So it made it extra special to me that I finally won this. But I'll tell you what I think the difference is that I really looked at internally, what would this really mean to me to have GIS? And I just won this last year, and I still can't tell you that I won a $2 million contract because of this. But I will tell you that I have a young graphic designer, CAD lady, who's on my staff, who has a degree in GIS. And if I had not gotten this software, I was going to lose her. Because she had this knowledge and the training, so I had a great benefit. I don't have to train her. She has this knowledge, and I guarantee you that I would have invested all this money in her, and she was going to be gone to someone else. So, and I wanted to keep her, and I wanted to provide this. So far, we've probably provided in-house about $50,000 worth of GIS that we would have normally given to a subcontractor. So we're just starting. It's taking a while to get that going. But this is a whole new area for us to be able to provide these services for ourselves. And so it made perfect sense, and I said, it took us a couple times to realize we needed to be very specific about what we were going to do with this stuff and how it really would impact the business. Yes, everybody wants a new website. Yes, everybody wants this. But I had to really look in, well, what was I giving away that I could have taken in-house, that I had people who even knew how to do it. So for me, that was why we kept trying and kept looking at it. But we did try several years and not receive an award. So that's my story.
Okay, thank you. So as you can see, the award is really given in different areas and for different, we had software and we have equipment and we have several other things over the years that the award has gone for. But Kathy, you were talking about, and I got a big smile because we've been reading your applications each of those years. So the third question is, any suggestions you can give the audience on how to develop a successful application? Because the application really is key in getting your thoughts across. And you've applied more than once, and Laura and Keely, I don't remember if you had it. Yeah, okay. So Kathy, just share a little bit more. You talked about how you were more specific, and that anybody can apply for a website or anything, but just to talk a little bit about how your earlier applications went, and then how you went through for this last one.
Well, there might have been a touch of desperation.
That always helps.
Yeah, no, but I think it was being very specific and having those cost numbers. I don't know why this one, but by having the cost numbers of showing these are the projects that I'm doing, and this is what's stopping me. Literally, I did over 250,000 man-hours of GIS, literally in the last 10 years, for the EPA. And I used an outsider, and instead of developing my own staff for that. And again, I said it's a maybe $20 an hour adder in my business for all those hours. But I always thought, well, this is just a fluke. We won't do it again, It's like this one-time thing. We won't do it again. And so, yeah, we'll just hire that guy. It's easier, like this stuff. So I think, for me, I really felt that getting it honed down to a very dollar and cents, this is really where I'm missing the boat. And I also listed why I hadn't invested in this in the past. I had some very big reasons, because now you buy the software, you've got to buy the better computer. And it's kind of like a chain. It's not just the software cost. You're investing in a lot of people you have to train. I have someone who's trained, but she's going to need more training. So it's probably a $25,000 investment for me to go into this. And then you have to, of course, it's a computer thing, so you have to do there. But I think the trick is getting it down to the dollars and cents. How will it add to your bottom line? Whether it's, how much more work are you going to get, and why is that going to help you, and how exactly? So I really think being very specific and being net bottom line, here it is. Because you only have 2 pages. That's not a lot of, there's not a lot of fluff in that. You got to get to the point about why you need this. And then I had to admit, I've been pretty dumb. I've been pretty dumb not to realize before this, but it's not in my core business, and I didn't see, like you said, I always thought it was a temporary thing. They need this now, they may not need it in the future. And so for me, it was being very, very hard with myself about what do I really need, and how much is it costing me not to get it. So I'm very blessed to have gotten this, and we really have been able to keep a key employee because we invested in this and won this. And I don't know that we'd have had that situation if we hadn't gotten this money. Because it's been a tough year. Do I hear an amen, ladies? It's a tough year. So I appreciate it very much.
Okay, Laura. but I'd like to hear your insights too.
Well, as a matter of fact, we got it on our third try. The first try, we put it in, and what I've learned in hindsight was very vague. And as Kathy said, even what we were putting it in for and applying. So the second year, I'm like, okay, we're going to learn. You always want to learn and get better. So the second year, I thought it was better, but we didn't win. So I was really a little perplexed. Like, okay, we improved, but what happened? Well, what I did was I talked to another WBE who won that year that I knew very well. And I said, and I asked them, I said, what is it that you did, or how did you, how did you go about the process? And that was very helpful. And that's what I learned. A lot of the things that Kathy said is, one is it wasn't specific enough. And I did not do a good job in telling my story. And I think that's the key thing I would share with the WBEs. Tell your story. And a lot of times, when you tell your story, we tell part of it in our heads. We don't put it all on paper. The other thing is, tell your story from the WBCS view, not your own view. Because you have to look at it as well as, it's a wonderful thing that the council is giving this money, but also we can give back with what we do with it. So even with that, the numbers, how we're giving back, even hearing what Cheryl said about Lily Knox, you take all that in, the kind of person she is. So it was to the point, it was crisp, it was the who, what, when, how you're going to use it, and the numbers to support that.
I don't know that I can add too much. You all have covered the bases, I think. But the only thing I would just reiterate is, if there's a way that it's going to differentiate you from the competition, if there's a way that it's going to add value for your clients, make sure that you include that in your succinct, precise message. And treat it like you would treat any request for information or request for pricing from your top customers. Take it very, very seriously, answer it professionally, make sure you cover all the points.
Okay, and Cheryl, from the selection committee perspective, is there anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I think you've heard some really valuable tips here today with being specific about what you want. And you heard Keely mention that what she needed cost a lot more than $5,000. And I think that's significant. Not that it's a requirement, but the fact that, don't think whatever it is that you need for your business, it has to be within that $5,000. This can just be a contribution to what you need. You also heard the 2-page rule, and we're very serious about that. And if you have more than 2 pages, you won't be considered. It's not, gosh, this is really good, but couldn't we just, it was one more paragraph, couldn't we just let that slide? No, because that's not fair to everybody that followed the 2-page rule. So we don't look at that. And you've heard these 3 ladies talk about what they needed to grow their business. What they didn't say is that they're all incredibly active in this council. And that was a huge part of their application. You can take the 2 pages and you can write 1 paragraph about your activity in the council and the rest about what you need. If that 1 paragraph is significant to the work that you've done, then that's okay. There's no rule about that. But I would just say we look very strongly at your participation in the council, because we want to recognize and honor those people that are definitely going to give something back to the organization.
Okay, you talked about, Cheryl, things to look for. What are some types of requests that we don't consider?
That's a great question. A couple things I'll mention. I'm not going to mention anything real specific here because I don't want to discourage anybody from applying. But a couple things from an educational perspective. If you, as a business owner, have a class that you would like to attend, training or growth and development, that's a really good thing. We have some other avenues available to you through the Dorothy Brothers Scholarship. It's through WeBank and given to local WBEs, so that's an avenue. But I would not rule out completely that the committee would consider it if you make the case for the growth of your business. Now, education of your staff may be a little bit different story for us, because we want you to be successful and your business to be successful, but we hate to see you train a person with your $5,000 award and then leave you the following week. So we kind of look at that, and again, I'm not going to say I rule that out completely, because there's an exception to every rule, and that's why we have so few rules going into this. The other thing is, we probably would not give an award if the request is for operational purposes day to day. If you need the money to pay the rent, that's really not, it may keep your business open, but not exactly going to the next level. So we kind of shy away from that. I think you've heard 3 really good examples here today, but I think it's wonderful that we've heard don't be discouraged if you don't receive the award on your first try. I'll tell you a little bit about the process of the committee that I think every year, from Robbie and Larry and Barb, I'm amazed at this, but we receive all the applications, and we receive them ahead of time, we review them, and we come to our first meeting. We all have a short list when we come to our first meeting. And over the last 8 years, I've been amazed that usually if we have a short list of 5, most of the time, all of us have got 3 and sometimes 4 on that list that are the same, which I find amazing. But it tells me that this group is very well tuned and in tune to what the award is about.
We've gotten better over the years.
Yeah, we've gotten a lot better over the years. But then there's that. Then we have that 1 or 2 kind of random ones that are out there, and we have a major discussion about that, and try to convince each other why we got that one on our list. And then we finally come up based on the amount of money that we have to award with what we're going to do. It may be 1 award. It may be 2. I think that we've done as many as 4 1 year. So we have, you can see, there's no rule about that, and would encourage you to apply. It's also not based, we've heard people say, I never applied because there are people that need it more than I do. That's not what this is about. This is about your business and taking your business to the next level. It's not about how successful or how big you already are. So if you've got a need, we would love to be able to help you with that growth.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going to open this up, and would you all comment on the one piece of advice you would give to WBE member who is thinking about applying for the award?
Just do it. Don't think somebody else is more deserving or more special or whatever. We all have a business need that we can be holding you back, like you said, to differentiate yourself with another firm or something. I really did think all these years. I know I did it at least 4 years, and it's like nothing ventured, nothing gained. Just do it. And I'm sure some of the first ones we put in, the criteria was pretty vague, and mine were pretty vague, but what I think is the difference is really trying to hone in on, and it's something to talk to your staff. I would say really sit down and spend the time to think about, if you had this $5,000, what would you really do with it? What could that mean for your business and a critical piece that you're missing? And even if you don't apply, I think that's a good exercise. But I don't see why you wouldn't apply. It's open if you're qualifying WBE. Why would you not? And that's how I look at it. I do a lot of these different kinds of things. And I just think that you've got to figure out what you need and clearly state how you got it, or what you would do with it.
Yeah, and just to touch again upon the fact that this is not a financial need-based award. So as long as you're a certified WBE for 2 years, you can apply. Whether you do $80,000 a year in revenue or $40 million a year in revenue, that's not the determining factor. So just do it, as Kathy said.
I guess I would just add on to what Keely touched on before, is not only move forward with it, but treat it as you would a proposal. And those are things that you do all the time. Apply the same things to it, the same thought process, whether it's, bringing in your team, like Kathy was saying. And also look at it for growth. So often as WBEs, we live right there in the moment, because of course everything is right there for us day to day. But it's a great opportunity to think about growth. So that's an exercise within itself to set yourself back for a moment. And then think about what could really help me grow and move ahead.
I'll just make one final comment about the fund itself. Lily knew better than anybody the challenges that you all face with respect to funding and access to capital and so forth. And so that's why this is the perfect award to have her name attached to it. But I would say thank you to everybody that's donated to the Lily Knox Fund over the years. And, $90,000 is pretty impressive, I think, what we've done in just a short amount of time. So I would say thank you to everyone who has contributed. And I think at every council function you go to, there's an opportunity to give. There's always an envelope, and you don't have to wait for a function. You can, anytime you feel like contributing, we welcome those awards, because that's how we keep this going.
So that's a great segue to the last question. So thank you. And the last point is, what would you say to both our corporate and WBE members about donating to the Lily Knox Award?
Well, the ability to pay it back and is important, especially to us as women, I think. But I personally would like to thank the sponsors and anybody here who's actually donated to this in the past. And I make it a point to try to put some little bit away to fund this program, even when they weren't giving me one. So I definitely think it's a great program. I appreciate it. As I said, I had the great privilege of actually being able to know her, so it really makes it special.
Well, $90,000 is a really big number, but we're a very big group of powerful women, so I think that we can increase that number. It's a way for us to really help each other, WBEs to WBEs, to give and to help each other grow. And to me, that's been one of the most rewarding things about being a part of this council, is really building those relationships with other WBEs and helping each other. And in turn, then other doors open and other opportunities arise.
I would say of course, thank you to the corporations and those who have given. The main thing, too, is hopefully today, and what especially the corporations see, is to be able to really put a face and a story behind your giving. Because just as we as WBEs work so hard in the trenches, so do the corporations. And as they live day to day, they're doing what they can, and they're getting that money, giving that money out. But so often as they're working hard, they need to see the return on what you all have given. And so, really appreciate you and say thank you. That was one thing that we did, my team, and which goes to the other thing is we always think about minorities and women as being consumers more than givers. We're always on the receiving side. So even just with that same concept of how do you put a face and thank you to those who've given so much, we actually invited the committee to our place for lunch to treat them, to say thank you, but also with our smart board to show them how it worked and to demonstrate it.
And we all want one now.
So just remembering, I would say thank you, and so never forget corporations, that what you do really makes a difference, all of those things. And hopefully our story here, those things we do, make it a little bit real to you, to make it worth it, because we know that you all go through challenges as well. And just with that consuming thing, just as Keely said, is, and Kathy, even if we can give anything, Cheryl said she'd take $1 on up. but even just us going on the record to show that we're investing in one another, how far will we move that down, and what is that message we're saying to ourselves, but also the corporations.
So any last comments before we turn it over to questions? All right. So opening up to the floor for questions. Do you have any questions? I've thought of a couple. Okay, yeah. Great.
Is involvement and need weighed equally, or is there a specific weight on each of those?
Sure.
The question was, is involvement and need weighed equally? And in answering this, I would call on any of our committee members that would like to respond. I would say yes. We consider those huge things, but the need and the demonstration that's going to be growth, and also your participation in this council. We're where we are 17 years later because we have wonderful participation and wonderful volunteers. And people who have stepped up and taken a leadership role. It's not all about sponsorship. We know everybody can't sponsor everything. It's also about the work that you do on the committees. And so if you think your application has got to say, I sponsor this at the highest level, this at the highest level, but you're never there, and we don't, we don't know you, and we don't see the volunteerism really. Or don't get me wrong, we appreciate the sponsorships. I'm Debbie for that. We definitely appreciate the sponsorships, and so we don't take that lightly. But what I'm saying is, it's not just about the money that you spend; it's about the time and the investment in your time that you give to this council. So I would say yes, we look at both very strongly.
And I'll add just to what Cheryl talked about, because people have a different idea of what participating in volunteering means. It can mean coming to these events and networking with everybody. It can mean going on a committee, and we talk about committees all the time. We have all different types of committees. But one of the things that you need to be aware of is that the committees are always made up of both sustaining members and WBEs. And participating in those committees and volunteering on activities, no matter what it is, it's a way for you to build relationships with sustaining members. And sustaining members also see your participation and your focus and your drive in doing the work for the council, and that transfers over to, well, then this person must also have the same drive in her business. So it's a great way to showcase you and your company to other companies and other WBEs, because we do so much business WBE to WBE. So there's many different ways of volunteering, and we don't look at sponsorships or how many committees or being on the board. It's a number of different things. How many events you've been to, people you've met, different committees that you've been on, those types of things. That you're out there, you're committing your business to getting out and networking within the council and building the council. That's how we do it. Is we do it by working together. Okay, other different questions over here? Yes.
It's not so much a question, it's just a comment. And Portland, I like what you said about encouraging people to submit the application as you would a proposal. And so that means a very well thought out and professional presentation. And I've been surprised the number of times we've had people that have just literally scratched something out in their handwriting. And the message you send to the committee members is, I really don't have enough time to think about this. And if we're sitting there trying to figure out exactly what it is you're going to do with the money and how that's going to help, you're not going to be selected. And then the other thing, in treating it like a proposal, just like a proposal, if you wish after the selection has been announced and your firm was not selected, you may want to talk with any member of the selection committee, including Debbie, and say, what would you do differently? I'd like some constructive feedback. And I know when I don't want a proposal, I always want to understand why, and that would be very helpful to you in submitting your next proposal.
Okay, any other questions? All right, well, let's give a round of applause for this great. Okay, any last comments? I'm giving you your time. All right. Well, thank you, and I would like to invite Becky back up to the podium. Thanks so much for your time and attention.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate you taking the time. And applications are due July 31st. So if you haven't already started it, I really encourage you to take advantage of this. And thank you again to all of the members who help support this valuable program. I want to give credit where credit is due. Cheryl said a couple of times under Debbie's leadership, and it really was the brainchild of Cheryl Stevens. And so I really do thank you for your leadership in getting this off the ground and making sure that it's grown year over year. Okay, at this time, we talked about how the Lily Knox Award is actually presented at the luncheon at Harvesting Partnerships. Harvesting Partnerships is the next major event of the council. I'm going to let y'all go in a minute. It is September 6th. And another tradition that we have at Harvesting Partnerships every year is that we select a charity in the community to support. So we partner with another charity that will appeal to our members and will be an opportunity for you to support not only the council and your business, but another valuable charity. And so we have with us today Brenda Cannon, and she represents the charity that we're partnering with at Harvesting Partnerships this year. And she's going to come up and talk with us just a little bit about what we're doing for Captain Hope's kids at Harvesting Partnerships this year and tell you how you can participate. Brenda.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I do appreciate the Women's Business Council inviting us here, being in this room with all these wonderful women. And I want to talk about views, as a matter of fact. We are an organization that we're looking at homelessness, and we're looking at it from a different view. What do you see when you think of homelessness? What do you see in your mind? What do you think about? Most people are going to see the man on the street corner with the sign, "We'll work for food." Or some people will think about people under the bridge, right? Or you may have seen on TV where someone's sleeping in a cardboard box. Well, my view of homeless is a little different. My view of homeless is the more than 1,200 children that will sleep homeless tonight in Dallas County alone. That's according to the Metro Dallas Homeless Alliance Survey on Time. That's a one-night survey. This year, 54% of the families, the 54% of the homeless population was families with children. That's higher than the national average. The national average is 41%. So many of these people will leave home with just the clothes on their back. For a child, that means they left home without their school uniform, without their backpack, without their favorite toy. And that's where Captain Hope's Kids steps in. We were established in 1989, and our mission is meeting the critical needs of homeless children, and we do that by providing them the things that they may need to help them survive and thrive. So we are always looking for help in getting that mission done. We operate a warehouse office where we will store things like diapers, school uniforms, hygiene items, and like the boxes that are on your table right now. In 2011, our successful collaboration with more than 40 homeless service providers allowed Captain Hope's Kids to receive and distribute almost more than 500,000 desperately needed items to approximately 35,000 children. That's about 40,000 educational items and probably about 44,000 of the boxes that you see on your table. And that's also probably about 9,000 diapers a week. Our successful collaboration includes homeless shelters, transitional homes, and even an independent school district. By the way, Dallas and Collin County, on that one-night survey, each reported 1,200 children as part of the count. We also work with less traditional homeless providers because of the stigma that comes along with being homeless. They will never be part of the count. So when someone walks up to me and they say, well, how many? Well, that's a difficult thing to say. Because in Collin County, some of the students were living in cars, they were living in parks, in storage units. So it's difficult to put a number to it. And they're there, usually they're in a situation by no fault of their own. So we really are looking for people to help us in this mission. And our network is the best kind because it lets everyone do what they do best. So our best is increased buying power. We have the ability to hold more inventory and a singular focus on the needs of those children. On your table, as I mentioned, you'll see our care package program. These tokens are wonderfully created by groups of all ages. You will see some that comes from the youngest donors. You probably can pick those out if you have it on your table. Some are hand-painted. They're birthday boxes. They're hygiene boxes for the teens. They are summer fun boxes so that we can help some of the kids go to summer camps. We only ask that they be worth about $10, and most people are much more generous than that. So if you have the opportunity, or if this mission touches your heart, please come to me, talk to me. I think we can figure out a way for you to help us in our network. Again, my name is Brenda Cannon. I'm the captain of those kids, and we are meeting the critical needs of homeless children.
Thank you, Brenda. Terry.
Guys, I'm one of the co-chairs of our partnerships, and we picked Brenda and Captain. So the ask here is that we are looking for you all when you attend Harvesting Partnership to bring a box full of items that's worth about $10 or more that can go to these homeless kids. So put in that box anything you think. I believe Brenda's providing kind of a list of some things. It could be as basic as hygienic stuff. It could be school supplies. It could be toys. It could be anything that hits your heart. But we're asking for you to bring a box when you come to Harvest Party.
Great, thank you. Did everybody hear Terry? So here's some examples. Bring a box with you on September 6th. Thank you again for giving your time to talk about the Willie Knox Award. And thank you again to Brinker for your title sponsorship and for the food that I bet is right outside these doors. So enjoy the rest of the network.